Peace everybody, Zoena here, aka Zuzunatural, aka Salim the Jedi. So I'm out here vending on 125th Street and I haven't put a video up on YouTube in a minute. So I said, let me film a video since I'm out here anyway. So what I want to do is a quick video on the difference between some of the black crystals, because that's a question I get asked a lot. So we're going to talk about Obsidian, black Tourmaline, and Shungite. Very briefly, we're not going to go into serious detail, but I just want to give you a quick breakdown just in case you're like, what's the difference between these black stones? Why do I need this one versus this one versus? So I'm out on the street, so there's going to be a lot of noise in the background, so just forgive me for that. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. And so, as always, I say use your intuition. So when it comes to the black stones, let's say you come up to my table and I have Obsidian out and I have Shungite out and I have black Tourmaline out, I would say go to the one that pulls you and the one that draws you, the one that calls you, because that's more than likely the one you need. However, if you want to get a little more technical and you want to have a breakdown to make a informed decision, then this information will come in handy. So we're going to start with Obsidian. Obsidian is my personal favorite. So here we go. This is an Obsidian skull. We've got some Obsidian arrowheads, Obsidian DT here. So this is Obsidian. Obsidian is not a true crystal. It is a volcanic glass. So when the volcano erupts, the lava hardens and cools and hardens very quickly. So it doesn't have a chance to crystallize and you get this volcanic glass situation. So you know Obsidian because it looks like glass. It looks like a shiny black glass. Typically you can see through it. Like if you would put this up in the sun, you can see through it a little bit and it'll have some imperfections. I'm not sure if you can see it on here, but you can see, like, this isn't silver sheen, but you can see a little bit of the sheen of silver, some of the impurities that are inside of it. So Obsidian's my favorite of the black root chakra or root secum shinra crystals, and I'm gonna tell you why. So Obsidian is intense. A lot of people don't like Obsidian because they're like, oh my goodness, I had Obsidian and all these negative things started coming up, all of these bad things started happening. And Obsidian is the soul mirror stone. So it's one of my Shadow 12 crystals. If you've read my Shadow Alchemy book, I talk about the Shadow 12 stones in my book, and this is the first one, Obsidian. So Obsidian is going to pull up all of that stuff from the shadows, all that negative energy, all that darkness, all that shadow energy. Is going to pull it up and it's going to come to the surface. And it's doing that to help you work on those things that you need to work on, because you don't want to keep them in the shadows. You don't want to keep them under the rug. You want to sweep them out, clean them up, and you want to integrate that into your entire body. So you want to integrate that darkness into the light, because we are both. We're not completely one or the other. It's like there's going to be a little bit of shadow there at all times, and you want to integrate that into who you are, so you are a complete and total being. You are a being of shadow and light. And so I love Obsidian because, number one, it's intense. But another reason why I love Obsidian is because Obsidian cuts through the nonsense, okay? So it's a protection stone. It helps get rid of negative energy. It helps ground and balance. But the way it does it is like a samurai swordsman. It cuts through that negative energy. It cuts through. So it cuts through that negative energy, including yours. A lot of us like to look at the negative energy outside of ourselves, but not acknowledging the negative energy that we carry, that we hold, or that we bring to a situation. And so Obsidian is the one that's going to cut through it, cut through all the illusions, cut through all the shadows, cut through all the negative energy, and it's going to be a protection stone as far as grounding and balancing you. So next up we have black Tourmaline. So this is black Tourmaline, and here's a nice little rough raw piece of black Tourmaline. So black Tourmaline is also a favorite. I don't love it as much as I love Obsidian, but I do love black Tourmaline. So black Tourmaline is a transmuter of negative energy into positive energy. So the way that it protects and the way it gets rid of negative energy is by transmuting that energy. It's an alchemist. It'll take that energy, it'll absorb that energy, it'll transmute it, and then it'll change it or transmute it into positive energy. With black Tourmaline, you do have to be careful because you want to cleanse. I find that black tourmaline needs to be cleansed a lot more often than other stones, and I guess because it's absorbing that energy and transmuting that energy, it's a lot of work. Transmutation is a lot of work. Those of us who transmute energy, we're all transmuting energy, but those of us who are consciously transmuting energy and those who are conscious alchemists, we know that it does take a lot of work. It takes its toll. So you want to make sure that you're consistently cleansing your black tourmaline, consistently. And you'll know when it's time, because it'll feel a little heavy, it'll feel a little dense, it'll feel a little dark, and you'll know that you'll need to cleanse it. So we have Obsidian, the samurai swordsman, who's cutting through the energy, and now we have black tourmaline, who is absorbing and transmuting that energy. So it's bringing in that dark energy, that shadow energy, that negative energy, and it's changing it into something fantastic, amazing, and beautiful. So that's black tourmaline. And last but certainly not least, we have Shungite. So this is Shungite here. Shungite. So Shungite is blocking the energy. So Shungite is excellent for EMF protection because it helps block from that electromagnetic frequency, but it does the same thing with other people's energy. So if you have negative energy, dense energy, shadow energy coming from someone else, Shungite will help block that energy. And so you don't even know it's coming your way because Shungite is putting up the shield and blocking that energy from you. So if you want to block that energy, then Shungite is the one that you want to have. So now, of the ones that we spoke about, notice the differences between. And so depending on your personality and how you want to deal with energy is the one that you would choose. Do you want to be a samurai swordsman and cut through that energy? I personally like to be a samurai swordsman and cut through that energy. Do you want to be a transmuter of energy? Do you want to be an alchemist? I like to be that as well. So with black tourmaline, you're going to transmute that negative energy into positive energy. But remember, you're absorbing and taking it in. As an empath, I'm an empath, and if you're an empath, one of our things that we want to make sure we're constantly doing is observing and not absorbing. So I'm not the biggest on absorbing. I like to observe, but I don't typically like to absorb, even though it's inevitable, it happens. And then we have Shungite. Shungite's just blocking. Shungite is like, listen, I don't know what you're bringing over here, but I'm just going to put it up and make sure you don't. So Shungite is handling business, so you don't even have to worry about the negative energy coming your way, because Shungite is like, Shungite is putting up the negative block, is putting up the block against negative energy. So you can choose which crystal you want based off of the energy style of the black crystal. So those are your three, what I would say are the most popular black crystals, stones. They're not all crystals, black stones. So listen, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will be glad to answer those questions. I'm not sure, I might put this up as a YouTube video. We'll see. I might spark up my YouTube again. It's been a minute. So I might put this up as a YouTube video. If I do, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good jazz.